Okay.
Hello and welcome to Straight Talk Sales and Marketing. I am your host, Janet Clark, and we are here today to talk about ways to help entrepreneurs who are coaches, speakers, authors, or consultants to sell and maximize their own services in the marketplace. So I am thrilled to be here, thrilled to have you here with me today. And I'd like to introduce you to my guest speaker today, who is Jenny Lee Ciccone. And I've known Jenny for a while now. We actually worked together on a project about a year ago. And she owns a company called Joyful Journey Coaching. And actually, Jenny was an international career coach and a consultant before she discovered her true life's calling, which is the emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as EFT. And Jenny is a certified EFT practitioner now. She uses her unique background and expertise to help people to discover how their negative thinking and different patterns and emotional blocks are unconsciously hindering their success in both life and business. So Jenny is going to be talking to us today about how to embrace the inner game into your business. And I know it's going to be really exciting. And I do want to mention, and we'll talk about this also at the end, that Jenny has a new book coming out, which is called Decoding the Secrets of Joyful Living. And that will be released in June. So that's coming up very shortly. So without further ado, welcome, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here today.
Well, I'm honored to have you here as well. And I'd love for you to give us a little bit about your background, how you got into, becoming a business coach and a life coach, and, kind of the story behind the story.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to. Actually, I'm glad you asked this question because I do feel like how come I'm here today doing my business? It's really my whole life. It's my personal journey. I would say to do this business today, it's really a journey of my whole life to discover as, myself, as who I am. Because in my lifelong time, I have been seeking. I felt like something was missing in my life. So before I, seeked in the outside world. So I believed, especially under my Oriental culture, you can see, I was from Shanghai. I seeked success. So I did as career consultant and coaching. I helped executives in Fortune 500 companies to be more successful, climbing higher on their career ladder. But after more than 10 years, very satisfied, so-called successful, working in that field, I gradually feel it's not really the power or money to bring people the happiness in their life. And also life events happened in my own personal life, and suddenly my life was like upside down. So I went through many challenges in quite a long while, many years. So finally, when I came out, I, felt like I was meant to experience all. And I started to have my spiritual, awakened, realizing that, all my life so far, seeking it was for me to go within, go to in the world, to connect with myself and connect with the divine source energy there. So that, you could hear, you could activate your inner guidance. You hear the voice to guide you, and you found your life purpose. So that's why finally I really felt like, I, need to do this, to share this out, especially when I found this tool, EFT tapping. I really did it to every area in my life. And then, I went out to help other people. So doing this business, that's why I want to talk about this title, bringing your inner game into your business. It's a lot of inner game, a lot of resistance blocks.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. And I think it's interesting how we have this common thread among entrepreneurs where so many people who are in business today, whether they're coaching or consulting, are doing it from a place of something meaningful for them to make their legacy in the world, right? To do something that's sort of their inner calling. And so many have already had the experiences of working either in a corporate or a professional career where they realize that the climbing the ladder and making the money, there are some perks to that. I mean, I haven't met anybody yet who didn't enjoy success. However, there's that gaping hole that's still there for so many people. And this transitioning into, okay, how do I take all that I have learned through my life experiences and now apply them to really make a difference? And I love that you're doing that. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you are applying? Well, tell us what EFT is, because I'm not sure everybody out there knows what the emotional freedom technique is, and then how it can be applied to people, to help people to overcome barriers that they may have to moving their business ahead.
Okay, yeah, I would love to, because I really love EFT. I really hope that I can bring it more to reach more people to help. So EFT really referred to, we call this a needle-free emotional, emotional acupuncture. So it's like the combination of Chinese traditional medicine and modern Western psychology. So the simple way is to tap some of, only 9, some of your meridian points on your body, which has been proved highly related to your emotion, your true feelings, self-talks, thoughts, beliefs. Because, in the modern society, we don't prefer to show our feelings, emotions, especially when they are negative. And
So
we don't want to be, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, so most of the people who are watching this may be watching the video, but some may be just listening to the audio on iTunes. So just describe what you mean when you say tapping. I think most people know what the meridian points are on their body, right? But we're tapping with our, at the palm of our hand, our fingers,
Okay.
something, what?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I was just afraid that I will go to too details, make it
Well,
long.
it's just that some people are just listening, so we just
okay, sure.
want to describe it a little more.
Yeah, it's really like use your 2 to 3 fingers very gently, tapping on 9 meridian points. If anybody is watching, I think it will be even better, So the first one on the fingers, little finger side, karate chop, and then you move to the body, starting from your eyebrow, move to the side of eye, under the nose, chin point, and collarbone area. Look at this shape. It's actually a question mark.
Oh,
And then,
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, and then the other point is on the top of the head. You just remember you have another top point on this question mark, and the final point is under your arm. Put your hand under your arm at the bottom of your little finger on the side of your body. That's all. That's all the meridian points, and it looks very silly actually, especially for the first timer. But when you start, it connects you to your true feelings. So it's very powerful. So that's the basic part of EFT. Janet, you want me to continue how EFT could help?
Absolutely.
Unblock?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we know what it is, and I love that you compared it to acupuncture, because I think a lot of people do at least understand that. And then it's needle-free emotional. Is that what you said?
Acupuncture. Yeah.
Acupuncture? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And, the thing is, this EFT really connects you to your true feelings, because under the modern society, like I said just now, people don't want to be vulnerable. But actually, our power, it's really not from our own prideness. It's from our vulnerable as human, because we all are human, and we were created to have all, whole line of emotions, including negative and positive ones. But we have the tendency to judge our own feelings, especially negative feelings and some negative beliefs. So we were taught, everybody believe we have to be positive. So that's why, many people, they stay in their head instead of their heart. What it means, they use their willpower to control their feeling, or even suppress their feeling or some kind of beliefs or sorts. I need to be positive. I'm positive. I'm not those kind of weak or emotional people. So I'm fine. Even if you are not fine, I'm fine. So, but unconsciously, they are not aware that those feelings, they come up. Actually, they are not harmful. They just want to go out. They want to leave. But when we suppress them, they stay inside of our energy system. They go nowhere. So, and it caused the disruption of, our inner energy balance. So long enough and strong enough, those disruption finally cause, the block for us, the energy jam, so that, we stay in the lower vibrational emotional energy. And you
So what
don't
would
have,
be
yeah.
some symptoms that people would know that this would be a good way for them to kind of move beyond?
uh I'm sorry, the you mean you want, me to talk,
Like
yeah.
how would somebody know? And I kind of relate it to business, and I know that everything
Okay.
for most of us, our business and our life are all intertwined. But
Okay, sure.
if we're moving forward with our business, and there's certain feelings that are coming up around that,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we want to be more successful. So what kind of feelings might people have that would make them a good candidate to potentially use this as a way to
Okay.
get through?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm clear. Yeah. And I thank you for this question, because it's just really important. I mean, I personally feel experienced and believe that when you want to go ahead to achieve your goal, it's not only business itself, not only money itself, it's so many more. So the first level we have to deal with is the health level. I think, some of the people, maybe they still have some leftover health issues that block your energy to move forward. You have this thoughts, dream, but you just don't feel you can go out. You just stay in this stagnant status, just cannot move, stuck. And then the second level is, really your emotional level. I mean, emotional, not really only bad feeling, anger or so. Like, for me, example, uh, I had that belief before. Of course, I always worked for corporate as an employee. I worked well there. But now I got this call. I was called to step out, but I just cannot. And I don't feel comfortable, especially to step out to being seen. So I told myself in the head that that's not me. I'm a professional. I'm not a business person. Somebody comes to help me to do the business part so that I can do my part. But finally, it's proof that it doesn't work that way. And also, it's proved I worked on that. Finally, I come out. It's proof that it's really your own blocks. So I went through both health issue and also, the self-belief issue. So
So some
yeah.
people are going to feel that they're just tired, or for some reason they just don't feel good. They don't have that kind of energy that they need to take their business forward. So that could be a symptom.
Oh
And
yeah.
then you're talking about this feeling of not really being enough, or you're good at what you do, but there's all these business aspects of being an entrepreneur, and they're hard and they're not really your skill set. So in a way, there's a block there to learning that. And I actually think it would be fun to talk about the experience that you had, because I happened to be working with you at that time,
Yes.
when you were going to build a list for your business. And the first thing that you needed to do was to host a telesummit, which you were going to interview 21 or 22 experts who were in the self-development field. And I can remember personally having this conversation with you, that this was really hard for you. First of all, how were you going to find experts who were already successful in business to interview? And then how were you going to put yourself on video to be able to do that? So I think this is really a great story that you have to tell of actually how you did that.
Oh yeah, Jen, it's so true. I still have all these movies in my mind. Last year, all it's going on. Yeah. And I had to say, I did a lot of tapping already, unblock myself. That's why. And also I tapped on my intuition. And then, the resources just came to me. And Janet, your program was one of them. I feel like excited and great. I said, yeah, I had very clear in mind that this is what I can do, what I need to do now, especially when I have some people to help me. So I just joined, and first couple of weeks, it's great. I did the research, everything. But now, when I was asked, and by the way, I love your working format, which is week by week action taking, assignments. You don't feel like overwhelmed, otherwise I would never start, and until one day I was like requested to send out emails or whatever. Then I just feel my stomach, it's just like so tightened, so I didn't want to do it. I still remember I sent you email. You said, hey, if you have any, resistance there, email me. I could help. I emailed you right away. I said, I need help. I don't feel like I want to do it. I can do it. Yeah, they are big name. I'm such a small potato, especially, my background. I had a lot of, criticize, judging from my culture. Everything is, like the judging or whatever was regarded as the motivation to drive you. So I judge myself. And I was so scared to be seen. How about they, how do I look? I'm so new. And, I believe that I have to be a professional professional business person, to be a business person. So this kind of underlying, underneath believing it's ridiculous, but it is actually true. That's, in my system. So I did tapping crazily, actually. Of course, you supported me a lot. And so finally, I just felt like, whatever, I'm already here. And I also realized that, this fear actually is equal to everybody. I don't believe that any people, even they are big now, but when they started, they still need to go through this stage of fear and scared, feeling. So I finally realized I just go ahead, do it. So just do it, like Nike's, yeah, great logo. So I started, just one by one. And when you start to move, take action, and then the feedback will be coming back. Somebody maybe, keep silent, no, not return your email, but somebody really did. And especially some big, name expert, not only they are not interested, but actually they are very interested. And they want to support, they want to join, and that inspired you so much. So I kept doing tapping, you know, in the whole procedure.
So tell us a little bit about when you're tapping. So now you've got this stuff coming up where you're feeling a little bit, less than, and a little intimidated, and the fears are coming up. And now you say, okay, I just want to take one step. I want to do the one next thing, which say it was just mailing out emails. And I can remember that you were saying things like, well, I don't want to go to the big EFT people. I'll only go to people who are, not. And I'm like, well, why not send it to everybody? And you got some big names, which was great.
Yeah.
And they were happy to do it. And not only they weren't doing it necessarily as a favor to you, they considered it that you were actually doing a favor for them. They appreciated it. So how do you tap? So what happens now? You just start hitting these spots on your face, or
okay.
how do you do it?
Yeah, I really love to do, introduce. So when you start to tapping, the key point is always chase your pressing issues, your self-talks, and your feelings. For me, example, for this project, I just started to, the setup statement on the karate chop, use your 2 to 3 fingers, whichever side is fine. The setup.
So you're using your 2 fingers and you're tapping on the other hand where you would, the karate chop place there.
Yes.
Side of your hand, and you're tapping with 2 fingers on that, and
2 to 3 very gently.
And you're saying something.
Yeah, this setup statement is especially important. You cannot be too general. Have to be very specific. You cannot say, oh, I'm so scared for my business. I don't want to go out. This is too general. It's like take a big mountain to take a hammer to hit on. It's too huge. So you got to be very specific, picking, one issue. I am so scared, even though literally you will say, even though I have this issue, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. So for my case is, even though I am so scared to go out to approach those big names, even though I'm so scared to make video, to let myself to be seen, I accept myself and how I feel. So this is very important. It's like your knot in the knots there. So you want to hit on that knot. And then, 3 times you repeat this setup statement. And then you move to, just now I introduced the question mark point on the body. Remember, it's very, very, casual. You don't need to be so precise or even skip some points. It's still okay. And you don't need to even be that strict on what you need to say. Just be honest to your true self, true feeling. It's like you now start to tap on your eyebrow, this question mark point saying, I'm really scared. I'm so scared. What about, I look ugly? What about I look not confident at all because I'm so new? I'm really, not ready yet.
So as you're saying these things, you're moving your hand to different tap points. So maybe you're tapping 3 or 4 times in each spot, saying it, so you're above the eyebrow, you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you for reminding on that. When you tap, you really do still 2 to 3 fingers gently on each point. You tap like 5 to 7 times.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to count.
I get you. Right. So a few times.
Yeah. You just several times, and then you move to the next point.
So it starts on the eyebrow, and then it goes to the outside of the eye.
Side of eye, then under the eye.
Under the eye.
Then under the nose.
Under the nose.
Then chin point.
The chin. See, I can go do this too.
Yeah.
Collarbone. I've actually done this before.
Yeah, and karate chop, and under the arm, and then finally top of the head. You just tap and talk your self-talk, the feelings. I am really, and I feel it so strongly in my stomach. I feel stomach butterflies. I feel, anxious. I don't want to go out. I feel I have resistance. These kind of thing. We call it, negative rounds. You speak out all your negative feelings, negative talk, self-talk, whatever. Your true talk, self-talks. That's the thing. And also in the same time, you check yourself of your issue and your emotional intensity on the scale from 0 to 10. 0 is least intense, and 10 is the most intense, or even higher, it's fine. Check at the beginning before you tap, and then after you're tapping, maybe after a while, you check again. And I bet you will find your emotional intensity on the exact statement, the feeling, it will go down. But one thing is important. You have to tap one issue and one feeling at a time. You cannot just, because we have so many of them. If you tap everywhere, it's just like you hit everywhere on the mountain. Again, that doesn't work.
So you're going through these points, and then do you start over again and you keep talking it through until you're feeling like it's less intense?
Yes. So the 4 basic steps, it's really the first step, tapping on setups, karate chop with setup statements, your issue, feeling, and even symptom. Where do you feel it? Then the scale, check the scale, your intensity of your emotion. Then negative rounds, to tap on the body, 7 or 9, 8 meridian points on your body, question mark. Negative rounds. After several rounds, you come back to check on the scale again, how your emotion moves, and maybe move to the, when you finally feel your negative emotion, the first time emotion or feeling or issue you tapped on, now move down to below 3 on the scale. Then you probably could start the 4th step, which is positive steps. You still tap on the same points, but now you change your tone to more positive, more like positive affirmation. I want to mention that, that's why somebody said positive affirmation, goal setting, New Year resolution, those kind of things never work for me. That's because underneath there is an iceberg blocking there, the believing, or all these, negative, self-sabotage, like I'm not worthy to be a good businessman, a person, all these kind of thing. So when you only need to, when you only remove those kind of underneath blocks, so that finally you can move forward, you can believe, you can have the self-confidence, and you have the energy, the most important thing, to take action instead of suppressing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what kind of things would you start? So you've gone through all the negative and how you feel like you might screw up in the video and you might not look good and people would,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So then you start, you've got it out now, and you're feeling maybe a little less intense about it. So then you switch it over to something more positive. And so what kind of things would that sound like?
Yeah. So I'm here, like to introduce this choose method. Of course, when we were at, under subconscious level, we only react the same patterns again and again. And when we tap, we finally bring up our true self talks and the true feelings. Now you are aware what is blocking you. You have the self clarity. So now you are at conscious level. You flow up to the surface of the water level. Now you have choice. So when you have choice, you can choose. So this time you put your 2 to 3 finger again to the setup statement, to the karate chop, and you say the same thing, but change the words accept to choose. It is like this. Even though I'm still scared to go out to approach those big name experts, even though have I still have fear to step out to be seen doing videos. I choose to open myself to start a baby step, these kind of thing. So
Okay.
you also say it's like 3 times on the karate chop, and then you move to your question mark points on the body again. I choose to open myself. What about I can give a little tiny baby step to give a try? What about I just send, 5 emails today and wait and see how it goes? Of course, I really don't know what will happen. I never try. I realize that, uh, I never did this before. That doesn't mean it will not happen. So what about I just do it? What about I start to build up a new belief? Maybe I can be a business person instead of a professional. Maybe I can learn. I'm always, able to learn quickly of other things. Now I realize I don't want to learn. I could not learn just because I believe and I don't want to learn. I believe I cannot. But what about I open myself a little bit? I give a try. I do something, different today. Baby step, little by little, things like that.
Ah,
I,
I love it.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I give myself. I choose to let go of my old belief. I choose to build a new belief today. I'm a new person starting from today. I bring in the business energy into me. I'm changing. So the big thing I want to show my experience here, I really feel like, when we shift as professionals into business world, we are changing. But in order to change, we really have to become not me. Because I said, that's not me. But then you have to be willing to be not you. But actually, I feel after tapping or so, I feel like this only puts myself into the zone in line with who I am as me. So I would say, actually, that's a real me. Before, I was not there. I was not a real me. So right now, I inline everything as who I am, why I was meant to experience all this, and I know my calling. I have my life purpose. I put everything in line to it. So I just do it more and more when I tap. Finally, I don't focus on those negative blocking belief or self-talk anymore. Like, oh, are you sure you really want to do it? What about if people criticize you or whatever? I have less and less those self-talks. Finally, I focus only, oh, I'm still not done this yet. The blogging part, this Facebook part. Let me see how I can do it. Now I shift to tap on my intuition. Please, I don't know this answer. Please, universe, my God, give me the answer. I'm willing to go ahead. I don't know. Please guide me. I just tap like that. And I still keep tapping almost every day.
Well, I love that it's called the freedom technique, right? Because of course my business is called the Freedom Shift. And
Yeah.
it really is, how does one have more time, more money, and more freedom? And really, it's a mind game. And so many people think it's like you talked about earlier, it's out there. They've got to get out there and find it. But the secret is to get in the inner game going here and start figuring out what is it that is either blocking you from finding that route that you really and truly want to be on, that's going to make your life feel good, and then knowing and accepting that there are going to be rocks in the road and there are going to be fears that come up, and then actually having I always say have a mentor, but somebody who can bring you to realize that maybe this isn't the real you. These are just fears, that there's a part of you that's coming up. But the reality is that if you, your essential self, has a desire to actually get to the next level, maybe these are just roadblocks, and there are ways to get through them. And it's the same thing. I mean, we say it's business, but it could be just breaking through a pattern of sabotaging yourself in the aspect of sales, or maybe feeling like marketing is too overwhelming. So you're going circles. You're not actually moving yourself forward to put yourself out there in a way that actually gets you what you want. So I think your story is great because I actually watched it. So it was fun. It's fun to talk about it now. It was a little hard for
Oh yeah.
you. And, and I was standing in the fire there with you for a bit
Oh yeah.
to literally say, well, if you do this, what could that mean for you in what happened? So I think what I'd love you to share is this conversation that we had when it was all done, and you had successfully interviewed a lot of, I think it was 22 people, and you had built a substantial list of a tribe that was now following you. But then you found out that you actually loved interviewing people. It was something that was actually part of your core, and you would have never done it otherwise.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Yes. So yeah, let me share the story of, this transition. I mean, to
Yeah.
feel, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think what you said, it was so true. I resonated, all when you have the calling, and finally, if you don't go out to do it, that actually doesn't give you really good feeling or live happily either. Because take me, for example, years by years, I didn't step out. But this thing kept coming back to me, nagging me. And I had low energy. I didn't feel fulfilled or whatever until finally I start to move out. I do more. I feel like my energy level is so much lifted, especially after you are done with done this telesummit, last year. I really feel like your confidence level, of course, I do energy medicine, so I always mention, energy level. It's really, so much lifted and in line the meaning of what you do. So finally, you don't think about you're doing business anymore. You just feel like it's all beyond you. It's like, okay, so I am called to do this to reach people. How I can reach people, how I can help them, how I could learn what kind of tools, what kind of investment I need to do to help more to meet their needs, what challenges they are having, how I can understand them better. I'm still learning, but I learn more and more. And the other thing I really like to mention, even last year was the telesummit with you, Janet, because that was really intense. But the thing is, I realized without tapping on also the other big point, the focus, concentration, I would not do it. You are overwhelmed. I have family, I have child, so busy, and you have your own work, you really cannot imagine you can make it. But I finally realized this is the thing I want to do. So you have to focus, but you cannot. How? Then tap again. I have so many things. I really don't know which one I need to go, especially when we do business right now. We have so many informations. I have my emails, all the different webinar, everything come in. Even looking at those emails, you could be overwhelmed, distracted, not grounded already. So I did also, even right now, I still did this kind of tapping. So get myself grounded. But the thing is, you really got to know what you want to do. It's like where you want to go, you have to know, and where you are. These two places you have to know. Then you just, fill the gap to move there. If you don't know where you want to go, you don't set up the intention, the destiny, you will either go nowhere or everywhere. So that's why finally people also, this is another reason I think it's stuck, going nowhere. So I really feel right now I'm out there. Like today I do this. I don't even feel like, oh, I'm doing video.
I know,
Yeah.
it's so fun. It's so fun. We're sitting here, we're having this Google Hangout. You're comfortable, talking about the experience of being afraid in the beginning to do it. And now it's just part of what you do. And you don't know who you're going to impact, but you know the right people are going to hear it. And that's awesome. So now let's talk about your book, because I'm really excited, and I don't know much about your book, but I know over the course of the last few months you've been working on that and it's about to launch. So tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you. Janet, allow me to give 1 minute to add some, on your last question. When you did those list building or summit or so, you really have some people you feel like you like you're drawn to each other, and they are the people they may want to listen to your information. They're looking for your information. They start to, some of them, they will email you, they will talk to you, and you understand more about the people you are going to help from those information. You also know what's the next, what you can do to design, to tailor-made to help better of the people. So that's for the last question. Yeah, now of course the book. And just like Telesummit, I never thought about that. If you put me, back to 5 years ago, I will tell myself I'm crazy even thinking about this. When I hear everybody is writing their book, I admire them. I never thought that would be me. And not mentioning that because I was born in Shanghai, China, and English even was not my native language. So such a big challenge or whatever. It's a joke, I would say. But after doing all these or so, I gradually have very clear in mind that I want to do these kind of one-on-one session to help people, but in the same time, I really feel like I want to build up the internet online business so that I can put all these things, I say it again to one-on-one clients, to a small group I'm organizing in my local area in Florida. And that way I can really help more people, bring value to them, and in the same time bring value to me. I really believe that we coaches, healers, practitioners, we want to help, but we have to also, survive well so that we can give an example, we can live this joyful life. So now, I also have, invest my coach also all help me, and we start to talk and discuss. So why don't you just put everything, through your whole life experience and share this out? I had this in my mind. I say yes, because I am clear already this is my call. And I am called to spread this information out, how I change, how I had my own transformation. So I just finally started. I spent like maybe totally altogether the beginning of this year, 2 months, 2.5, maybe altogether, starting from this idea, start to do the, structure, and then started, I think, writing procedure. It took me like around 2 months, or more than 2 months, 3 months. And now it's for
That's
editing.
nothing. 2 or 3 months to write a book? That's awesome.
But of course, I am so thankful, just like Janet, I am so thankful. That's also thanks to this tapping, because when I did all these, I connected to the divine source, and I feel like I become, so much, more, I cannot say powerful, but like with more resources, borrowing the universe power, not by me. I cannot, no way I can do it by myself. So co-creating, yes, co-creating is the word. So I co-create, with the universe. Then, the intuition and the people, resources, all these help you need, it just came to you. So I learned that, we just say yes. This is our job. So I did career coaching. I always use job description. So the job description for us as a new business person is yes. And then how is our universe job? So leave it to them. And then on your way, the thing will come out. And even when I did the book, writing, because I had so many challenges, and I don't know the flow. I even don't know the system, what's the steps or so. I didn't have it. So I tapped and tapped, please, I really don't know. I don't know the flow. I don't know this. What I need to do, I leave it to my universe, and I only do one thing, one paragraph, one page, maybe a time, and let it flow. Let it flow. So with the support team together, I mean, amazingly, the flow, it just naturally started by itself. You didn't really, like control the flow, but you just let go of your control, actually to the opposite. You just let go, you sat there, you did. I have my morning routine every day, yoga, meditation, prayer, and tapping a bit. It's almost like 30 minutes to 1 hour almost every day. I feel, this give me tremendous help. So then I gave myself, the priority. I removed all the other, one-on-one client session or whatever. I believe, the stop now, it's better for the future, moving further. So I just, again, just like my tele summit, I focused, I tap and I focus. I did not go to check any other emails or whatever, even they are good information or so, but they are not for me at this moment. So I just discipline myself to just block them. Don't let them come to me. You have to focus, otherwise,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah. So the book is really using my life experience, my story, how I came out, you know, walking my journey to joyfulness. Went through all these seeking from externally to internally, and then the challenges I had in almost every area in my life, which is health, money, relationship, career, and life transition, and also spirituality, because I regard myself as a very spiritual person. So the book finally based on my experience and the tapping I do to myself and now to help others. I put it like use EFT tool, use the 4 steps to deal with life issues in 5 major universal areas in health, relationship, money, career life situation, transition, and spirituality. The all work to do is for a joyful living with meaning, freedom, and happiness.
I love it. So how would one go about getting on your list so that we know when the book launches and maybe people would be able to get in touch with you? Could you give us your website address and
Oh
your
yeah,
email
sure,
address?
sure, yeah, sure. My email address, a website first. Right now, at this moment, it's under reconstruction, but it will be done very soon. It's www.joyful journey coaching, which is in my logo on the screen, but it's one word. It's a bit long, sorry, but no capital lower letter, lowercase letter. www.joyfuljourneycoaching.net. That's my website name. And my email address is the same. It's the same domain name. It's Jenny, Jenny, my first name, dot, and then my last name, Ciccone, Ciccone, at joyfuljourneycoaching.net. And if I have the list, I send out my newsletter sharing the joyful living tips also on my newsletter. And I have my Facebook page, Joyful Journey. So on the Facebook page, you can also sign up for the newsletter. And on the Facebook page later on, I will also announce the book launch or so.
Okay,
Hope I make it clear.
Yeah, no, that's very clear. And for all of you listeners out there, you always can go to www.Straight Talk Sales and Marketing, and you can access info about Jenny through that site, which is our podcast website. And of course, email me anytime. I love to hear from my audience, Janet@thefreedomshift.com. And I thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us today. It's been a joyful journey learning about EFT. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Janet. I personally expressed my thankfulness to you, but this is a great opportunity for me to say it in front of everybody. I do appreciate your help and the thing you did for me. I told you without that summit, no way I can be here today at this current place. And one more thing I really like to add, I mean, as a business person, I do think we need to invest some time on certain kind of program or so, and also coach I still have, I will still do, because that really take you to the next level. Of course, you stay with these kind of people or so, your thinking, way of thinking, you think about business, your alignments of your life or so, it's just so different. You cannot do it all by yourself without all these support. I thank you again, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to all our listeners, and we will be back again next week with Straight Talk Sales and Marketing. Until then, go out and have a great time and make some money. Bye for now.
Thank you, Janet. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.